The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good morning, traders. Another bonus day getting to hang out together on the best friends club / trading room. Some of you may not be aware that it's a best friends club, but it is, and you're in it. If you're here, you're in it. Good morning, Ted. Good to see you. Good morning, LK. Wonderful Wednesday, Dennis. Wet and hurricane windy. Oh yeah. If you're anywhere affected, stay safe, stay dry. That's pretty crazy. I talked to somebody last week. I mean, it was like last Wednesday or Thursday, and he's stateside, but he works in Puerto Rico. Yeah, they were out of power. It's like a million people are without power. It's crazy. Good morning. Is that you, Mark? I'm trying to make sure I'm seeing who's here. All right. Well, for those of you who are quietly participating, good to see you. Good morning, Charles. No, it still doesn't say your name. I will text you. I thought we were looking for Friday, but if that's okay. Good morning, Raymond. Good morning, Suresh. All right, now we got some energy coming. Yeah, Mark, I will give you a text as soon as we wrap up, and we'll hammer out a time. My name is Scott. I'm the head trading coach here at Tradespoon. I am filling in for Vlad, so if you were expecting Vlad, my apologies. He'll be back soon enough, but not today. Today, it's just me. I'll be here again in the afternoon. We'll get to hang out for another hour in the afternoon. Should be fun. Market's interesting. Oh, the market is interesting. So, yes, welcome to the Tradespoon Live Trading Room, Stocks and Options Opening Bell. I'm Scott. I'm the head trading coach here at Tradespoon. I've been trading for over 20 years, teaching for almost 20 years. These are the disclosures. Be careful out there. Trading and options especially are risky. We're not investment advisors. Have a plan, manage your risk, yada, yada. Excellent. Let's talk about what we know. Okay, so yesterday we had let me bring up a chart. So yesterday we started here. Pretty good starting point. If we were talking in the morning, we'd be like, that's a pretty good start. But remember, it's a long day. 6.5 hours. It's a long 6.5 hours. And in fact, it went up a little bit. So at one point, it looked like that. And you're thinking, oh, okay. And then at one point, it was all the way back down to here. And it's like, what the hell? That's a big bearish engulfing pattern. And then ultimately it finishes right at this level, which if we connect this across, is right at this level here. We've been talking about testing June lows. Our thought was that if and when it broke back there, we were like, ooh, that could test the June lows. Sure enough. I'm still riding a little bit of hedges, some bearish positions, but I have taken some good profits on some bearish positions. We've been sort of talking about that. Are you hedged still? Let me know a consensus. Are you hedged? Do you still have some bears? Right. The whole what next over the last week has been mostly if you're still in a bullish trade, the question would be why? Right? Why? Close the Friday and Monday. Okay. All right. I mean, Friday and Monday, it's not bad. Still got most of it, right? And it does look very oversold here. What's going on right here definitely looks like what was going on right here. And if you look at the stochastics, that looks very similar. So am I still thinking there's a chance that we get a bounce off of this? Yeah, absolutely. The question is, what happens if it does? Right? What if we get that move right there? Well, my primary focus is more bearish right now. I don't know about you guys. My posture has continued to get lower and lower. It's firmly in bearish territory. It's not strongly bearish. Like, do I think that we could still at some point have a recovery? Yeah, I do. And so that becomes the question again that we're trying to answer today, and that is there any part of you that's interested in trying to pick up a bullish move, or are you now to the point where you're skipping this? And if it happens to pop like this, you just won't be a part of it. And that's okay, right? I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm like, I don't know if there's much enticing me. And today might be the day, depending on how we close. We'll be talking about it in the afternoon as well, where we get that type of a signal. Took two bullish positions on Qs and IWM. Here comes a bounce. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a good chance for a bounce. How big the bounce is, how long it lasts, hard to say. But yeah, if you're going to do that, it's around this level right now. Otherwise, you might think, you know what, I'm just going to wait, because if it just gets up here and then rolls over, now we're starting to worry about breaking June lows and possibly really dropping harder there. Yeah, tight stops, limited risk. That's it. If you're going to trade it, that's how you do it. It's a simple formula, right? If we're going to do it, we make sure we know where we're wrong. So this is the discussion today. If you have remaining bears, what's your plan? If you don't, are you thinking about possibly speculating to the upside? It's a bit of a counter trend trade. Let's be honest, it is, right? It's counter trend. Right now, the short-term trend is down. It would be hard to make an argument for anything other than that. The short-term trend is down. The long-term trend's more sideways, right? So if you were to look at my market posture, I scored the long-term trend as 0. I think the long-term's kind of a sideways, and the short-term is down. Right? Let's see if I'm caught up on comments. So Kevin said the Bank of England went from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. So yeah, the pound did reach the lowest point ever. And it has recovered some, but I have to agree with you. That's certainly an act of desperation on their part to stabilize things, without a doubt. Absolutely. That'll be interesting to keep an eye on, what's going on over there across the pond. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So what's happening now? Why did I bring up this chart? Because yesterday we opened higher and closed lower. And what are we doing today? Well, it looks like we're going to open right up in the middle here somewhere. So if you look at the futures right now, we're up. We're coming off the overnight lows. We're up 0.38 on the S&P, 0.5 on the Dow, flat on the NASDAQ. Raymond tells me Apple's getting smashed, and that's certainly going to weigh heavy on the NASDAQ. Russell 0.64 up. Oil. Oil. Texas tea is up 2%. Silver's down 0.25%. Gold is up 0.5%. So there you go. What else? Biogen stock soars on mega blockbuster Alzheimer's drug. Whoa! I thought the blockbuster Alzheimer's drug was pot. I mean, I say that and laugh. I unfortunately, my mother passed from Alzheimer's. She lived with us the last 3 years. Devastating disease. And I've actually heard that pot does actually. I've tried to convince my brothers and sisters, like, let's let's give her some. They weren't on board. Should have. We absolutely should have. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's interesting. I'm curious about that. Anyone know about that? Trying to remember, what's Biogen's symbol? BIIB. There we go. Sorry. BIIB. Oh, holy shit. Look at that. Horrible, Bill says. Yes. Absolutely devastating. That's a nice jump, 40%. That must be a hell of a drug. Very interested about that. I want to read about that for sure. Anything else? Holiday travel, what to know before you book flights for Thanksgiving? Why we're not repeating the housing bubble. I mean, there's really not much, right? Biggest crash in world history. Robert Kiyosaki issues another dire warning. I don't know why we keep listening to that guy. Right? Have you ever listened to him? It's crazy. Like I'm gonna file him. I'm gonna file him with what was that roaring 2000s? Harry Dent. Is that his name? Harry Dent. Why does he keep talking? Bill said, right? Fed to take rates higher than previously expected. More pain ahead. Okay. I think it'll be interesting to see what the November is, but I think 0.5%. I'm just saying. Economic calendar. What do we know about today? What day is today? 28th. A lot of Fed speak. A little bit of pending home sales, not much, just mostly Fed speak, mostly trying to decipher if the Fed is going to stay at that 0.75 mark, or if it's going to ease a little bit. Is Harry Dent still writing books? What's he writing about now? That's crazy. Thursday we've got some GDP. Friday we've got some inflationary data. Would be nice to see more easing on the inflationary side. So decent amount, Dow 40K. Yeah, it'd be nice to see the some inflationary data, ease up a little bit. So Stella sees blue skies. Mark was talking about jumping in, possibly a bounce. We've said, yeah, this is where we think the bounce may come. Well, there it is, right? That's showing something right there. Howdy Bob from Orlando with the hurricane coming. Be careful. Be careful. That's a hell of a bounce. I don't know that I'm looking for that bounce there. I do think a bounce is coming, but I'm not sure I'm looking for that big of. That's a reversal bounce, right? That's a reversal bounce. I don't know if we're quite there yet. QQQ. So, informal poll. If you are thinking about the possibility of bullish trades, say yes. If you're not even considering it, you're not willing to put bullish trades on, you're too bearish right now. Give me a no. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. 4 answers, 2 yeses, 2 nos. Exactly what I would expect. John says it's none of my business. Mind your business. Mind your business. QQQ looking for the same bounce. Ooh, it jumped. I've got 4 yeses, 3 nos. It's pretty split. It's what we tend to see with polls like that. Bullish dead cat bounce to 380. Okay. But the cat's still dead. Is that what we're saying? IWM. I mean, look at this. This is really a high degree of correlation. Oops. Shit. I hate when I do that. Let's see if we can go 4 for 4. No. What is going on? DIA. Nope. We're staying at 3 for 4. The Dow is still just grinding down. But we've got 3 out of 4 looking for a bounce. That's really kind of interesting. Notice the SPY waddle was a C, was it? Thank you. Sometimes I neglect to report on that. The Dow is a C. Q's is an A. Okay. All right. We'll see what our report card says. Russell is a C. And SPY is a C. 3 C's and an A. 2, 2, 2 plus 4, 10 points divided by 4, 2.5. Woo! We are looking at a very, very questionable B minus, barely overall for our report card. So, okay, that's something to think about. Sorry, Bill, I didn't. Anyone else have problems getting GoToWebinar to open? Bill couldn't get that. Sorry, glad you made it. Unfortunately, you missed the secret to the market in the first 10 minutes. We solved it. Maybe it's on the recording. Go back and check. Research. Yeah, this is where we tend to get this bounce. Yeah. The October bounce that leads to the Santa Fall Rally, Santa Rally, yes. Whether or not that's going to happen, the correlation has dropped to 43. Bill is skeptical that we solved it. Okay, let's go look at what's going on. We didn't solve it. We're trying, though. We're giving it our best. Okay, so we opened up a little bit already retesting these lows. All right, well, here it is, right? Do we hold? Do we think that the bounce is possibly coming? No. As of right now, there's really not much going on here that we can do with this, right? So here we are, fourth day. Our low here, we were at 363.29, 363.03. We closed at 363.38, but we tested a little lower yesterday. And right now we're at 362.90. So for 4 days straight, we've just been flirting with this 363 level, which again is exactly what we saw over here in our June lows. This is the only question you have, unless you're day trading. If you're day trading, then great, whatever. Bob says the Dow is below, DIA is below support. Agreed. However, I'm reluctant to think that the Dow is going to lead us down, because it doesn't usually, right? Usually the Dow hangs on while the Russell and the NASDAQ lead us down. Now, with that in mind, with that in mind, the Qs are still above their June lows, so that's holding on. As is the IWM. Okay. So one of the three. We'll see what we end up thinking about with that. And, whether or not they hold or whether or not the Dow does lead us down lower. IWM's hanging on, 0.5% up. QQQ. Down, but just like the SPY, still trying to grind out a support level here. Let's go through our watch list. Let's talk about some things. I'll tell you from a sector standpoint, I'm seeing nothing. Did we do sector rotation this week? Let's do it real fast. Let's do it. Okay, this is not it. Yes, we did? Oh, okay. We did do it. What did we decide? That there's nothing here? Consumer defensive and utilities? Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Energy, utilities, staples, defensive. If you ever wonder, staples, consumer defensive, they're interchangeable. Healthcare, and then everything else. That's very defensive looking. Change the time frame. What do we have? We have energy, but energy's giving it back. That's okay. We can live with that. Utilities, they're giving it up pretty quickly here, right? Staples, healthcare, and then everything else is down here. I mean, anything growth oriented is just struggling. 66 days. If you notice right here, there was just this little glimmer of something. It's a little glimmer of something. I don't even know what to call it. So it's not like I'm like, oh, wait a second. It's like, oh, consumer discretionary kind of was okay for a minute there. It's trying to hang on. Nothing else is. And when we go to 22 days to evaluate whether or not that stayed around, it didn't. Right now, over the last month, the leading sector is healthcare. It's healthcare. Although the lagging is energy and materials. So again, if we're hoping for inflationary pressures to ease, certainly nice to see basic materials and energy at the bottom. What does this tell me? It tells me there's not much out there really right now. I mean, that's a bleak picture. Alcoa is down. Doesn't look great. Okay, so this is what Raymond was talking about. Raymond, what's the news? Was there news? We gapped down and are selling off on Apple. And this is a bad omen, right? We don't like to see, we've already talked about the fact that Microsoft, remember between Apple and Microsoft, that's 20% of the NASDAQ, right? So we've gapped down, we're selling off. That does not look good at all. It looks like this downtrend is just going to continue. So yeah, I'm not real hopeful in this situation. Something about Russia questioning the removal of an app from Apple Store. Yeah, so I've got two things. I need to look into Apple and what's going on, and the Alzheimer's drug. Those are my two. Those are on my docket. Marvin says it's down also due to disappointing 14. I'm assuming you mean the iPhone 14. Do they still make iPods? Or do they not make those anymore? Like, since my kids have had phones, nobody's needed an iPod for any reason around the house because the phone is just kind of the iPod, right? Like, but do they still make iPods? I don't know. iWatches and iPhones and iPads. Apple pulls VK apps from App Store. Russia demands explanation. We demand an explanation. Okay. ADI chips still look pretty not good. Archer Daniels, nothing looking great there. AMD bouncing off the lows. Amazon bouncing off the lows. AXP bouncing off the lows. Boeing bouncing off the lows. Baba bouncing off the lows. Bank of America, guess what? Bouncing off the lows. We've gone from like having 3 to 5 patterns to having like one pattern. That one pattern is everything trying to hold on. Hold on for dear life. Hodl. BBBY continues grinding lower as we get close to their earnings. Speaking of, doesn't it feel like we're getting close to earnings window? Let me go back up to Alcoa. Okay. A couple of weeks away from earnings. So we'll see what happens as we get closer to the earnings announcements. Caterpillar's down. ConocoPhillips is down. Costco is down. DBC is down. Oh, look at John Deere. How cute. It's making a little bump. That's cute. Diamonds down. Disney still down. I'm assuming you guys are you guys in that trade with Vlad on this anymore? Did you shut it down? I know he put a bearish trade on and he caught a good piece. Now it's just kind of stabilizing. Anyone catch that? Are you still in it or did you shut her down? Shut down. Good to know. FXI, China, not good. I was never convinced. When it was back here, it was like, oh, China, look how good it looks. I'm like, I don't know. Imagine those who bought here. You bought on this, you're like, it's a breakout. And then the next morning, you're like, woohoo, look at that. And by the end of the day, you're like, oh. And then all of a sudden you're here, and then you're here. And then you're like, wait, there's hope. And then you're like, no, there's not. Right? No. Negative. Ghost Rider. Gold looks like it's bouncing a little. I mean, we're in a defensively oriented inflationary market, and yet nobody's buying gold. What are they buying? Where's the money going? It's not going into energy. It's not going into stocks. IWM is up a little. Oh, look at IWM. Almost up 1%. John said under the mattress. maybe into some mason jars to be buried under the porch. Pet rock futures. I'm thinking of bringing back Beanie Babies. Right? They're still around. They've been around the whole time. Safe. They last forever. Yeah, look at the Russell up a little bit. Okay, hold on. Let's pause. Let's see. Is there money going into cryptos? Nope. I saw someone try to make the argument that this is the start of the next huge bull run. They're like, it's always a little flat right before the next bull run. Okay. Maybe. Maybe. Not going into Bitcoin, not going into gold. It's not going into oil, right? Clearly. Bonds. It's not going into bonds. Clearly bonds are diminishing according to standard practice with a rising interest rate environment. But yeah, it's not really there. The dollar looks good. Strength of the dollar is great. That's not really necessarily helpful right now. But that looks like it's topping out. So it looks like it's going to roll over. Anyone trading the dollar recently? Yeah, it's just there's no money flowing anywhere right now. It's crazy. It's just all kind of sitting. Everybody's just a little apprehensive. Where was I? Jets, no good. Meta, nope. Marvell, still down. Microsoft, see, Microsoft has been pounded, and now Apple is following suit. Doesn't bode well for the NASDAQ. T-bills are getting 4% now. Yeah, but they might be getting 6% in another 3 months. So anything you buy now, you would have to really hang on to, because the value of the bond, when the interest rates continue to go up, it locks you in. So if you're comfortable with the rate, yes, but it locks you in. You're not going to get out of that bond except for a loss as interest rates continue rising. Yeah. There's our trade right there. Netflix with the higher low. The stochastics is trying to turn. Just got the hiccups. Sorry if I'm hiccuping into your ear. Take a drink here, see if that helps. Hold on. Netflix is the most, which is funny because it was grinding it out sideways, 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 bump, sideways, 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 sideways. I don't know. I know they keep raising the price. I swear, I'm like, what do I pay for Netflix? Like $9 a month. And then I look and it's like 21. I'm like, holy shit, when did that happen? They just keep sneaking little price changes. And I just keep watching Netflix. I don't know. Neo. We were wondering if it was going to try back here. And then here. And now we're all the way back. So I would say maybe, but I'm curious. Based on what we've seen, does Stella like anything? Let's try Netflix. What does Stella think about Netflix? Nope. Let's try Neo. What does Stella think about Neo? Nope. Oh, it's bleak. It's bleak out there right now. Market posture. Who's doing it? Anybody out there running a weekly assessment? A standardized weekly assessment? That's what I like about it. It's standardized. I score the same components using the same analysis. And it just sort of helps me get a sense. Mine continues to get worse. I'm at a -3.5. So last weekend was crappy, bearish normal. Yes. Minus and dropping. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the good news is it's been dropping. So it's not like any of us are like, what? The market keeps dropping? Yeah. It's been weakening since the 4th week of August when we got our first ooh, that wasn't great. And hedging obviously is something we're looking at. We'll take a look at the VIX here in just a second. Nvidia still down at lows. Qs trying to hold support. Good morning, Angelique. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm good. I'm better than the market. The market's looking bleak. On the contrarian side, the AAI investor poll is as bearish as it can get. Great buy signal. There you go. Oh, yeah. When everybody has capitulated, it's ready to go up. Oh, Starbucks. Starbucks is trying to hold on. It's trying. SBUX. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bleak out there. China, India are buying gold. If they're buying gold, they're not really impacting the price. That's for sure. It just keeps going down. Whatever they're buying is worth less. Here's silver. Silver. Okay. Silver has actually been stronger than gold for me out of the two, right? There was some back and forth on if we consider silver to be precious or industrial metal. Kind of a quasi, leaning a little both ways. I think if any precious metal, if any metal, then we'll call it, I would say silver. What does platinum look like? Platinum and silver are pretty similar, but gold looks terrible compared to those, right? Look how, it's not good. It's 20% ish off its highs. I don't know. Semiconductors, not looking great. SPY, still down. Oh, but we're off the lows. Let's look at the range. Let's look at the range. The Russian ruble continues to be strong versus the dollar. Yeah, but the Russian ruble is being so manipulated. It's untrustworthy. I think it's untrustworthy. Tesla. So Tesla looked like it wanted to bounce, but it's like very lackluster. Hard to trade signals like that. Gas continues to drop. Look at this, 23. We were at 34.5. Right? We're down 11.50 on something that was $35. It's down 30% from those highs. Visa is at new lows. Come on, it's everywhere you want to be. Won't people realize that? Here's the VIX. And it just sort of snuck its way into the 30s, right? Like it just was like holding all through here, trying to hold, and then just like sneaks its way up to 35 today. And now we pulled off of that. We're at 33, but it just sort of snuck its way back in there. That's what's hard, right? It can. Yeah. What do we want to say about it? We're back in the 30s. It just sort of snuck its way in. What was hard is these were tough. These were tougher than I like. This one was okay. We got that little bump. That was better. That was an easier set of puts to buy right there. Hopefully everybody got a piece right here because that was a classic signal. This first one was difficult. The breakout was difficult, and the first higher low was a little more difficult. If you bought puts in there, you had to hold on to those for a while. But that's how hedges work, right? I had 5 weeks from that point. Well, not really, 3 weeks because it had to move, but those worked out okay. Okay. The second set worked out great. And then we had another opportunity there, right? So both of those higher lows and turns were absolute money in the bank. That wasn't like I'm like, oh, I feel like this is bearish. That was me saying, look, the VIX is giving the signal. We talked about it. The VIX is giving the signal that is indicative of escalation. Time to hedge. Or the second one, this one here was not really a hedge. There wasn't much bullish left. That was more speculative. The first one was more of a hedge. I don't know about anybody else out there, but those saved my bacon here over the last month. That's the difference maker. That's why if you look at my trading plan outline that I use when I work with traders, and you look at the risk management section, there's a section on hedging in there. That's got to be accounted for, because sometimes that's the best we can do, is just like slap something on that's like, oh, look, it worked. Now what? Well, at this point, without any change in news, 35 is a pretty solid level from an emotional standpoint, emotional resistance on the VIX. But to convince me, I need to see this. Boom. I need that. I need that. There, and there, and there, and there, and there. These are all opportunities. Look at all those little windows. Those are where the windows exist. Let me go to the SPY. Right? So you can see that look, did I change my color? Sorry, I'm trying to change the color of my pen here to illustrate. Yes, I did. Okay. So this was a higher low, a lower high. Boom. Perfect. This was another one. Boom. Perfect. 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 This one here, not great. This one here, pretty good. This one here, failed. Right? We knew that we failed here. This one here was iffy, needed more time. But the VIX was very helpful on helping us to catch the bullishness as it transitioned up. It was also very helpful helping us to catch these pieces here to the downside. Yes, I hope that you utilized it. It's one of my best friends when it comes to the market. So that's what I'm looking for now. What are we going to get? Are we going to get another higher low? Is it going to go up, turn over, and then we're going to get a higher low? Then I think that's happening. But if it goes up and then gives us something like this, well, then I think there's the reversal happening. So right now, whatever else we think, as far as short-term taking action over the next week, I'm going to be looking very much at the VIX, what it tells me. But as of today, yeah, there's where we are. So same thing applies. If you look at this and think there's a chance that we can get a recovery bounce and you want to participate, this is the time. I mean, not now, like now, meaning if you get some confirmation with a little bit of buying strength. Right now it's pure speculation. Should give you a decent reward to risk. Great. And if you have a tight stop, okay. The thing you want to be thinking about is, what are you looking for? And if it was me, I'd be looking for something like that at most. And then I'd be like, all right, I'm out. And at that point, I'd probably be putting on some bearish trades. Now, the hope would be if I put on bearish trades, if it comes down and then it only gets to here, well, then now there's that higher low we're talking about. So be thinking in advance. What do you need to see to trade one way or the other? So that you're not reacting proactively. What do you need to see? That's going to help you to identify this and essentially be ready to go. All right. You thought my policy was not to trade against the trend. No. As long as I recognize that I am counter trend trading, I'm fine with it. I'm never going to make that my core focus, right? Am I going to counter trend trade now and again? Yeah. And what am I going to do? I'm going to say, this is a counter trend trade. Counter trend trades should do what? Should have tight stops. They should have strong reward to risk ratios. And they should be well managed. So yes. Yeah. That's my thought. Any questions? Any comments? I know we're not trading a lot, but we're trading what the market's giving us. The market's not giving us a lot. Don't force it. Don't force trades. Be patient. Make sure that the signals you get are the ones that you want. So essentially, wait for your pitch. Don't just swing. Don't chase balls into the dirt. There's no need. We'll be okay. Is it frustrating? Yes. Is it hard to maintain patience sometimes? Of course it is. For all of us, we got to talk ourselves through it, talk ourselves off the ledge. But be ready with what's next. What's next? What are you going to pull the trigger on? Yeah, I'll be here this afternoon. We'll process what today is. We'll see if we do think that if we're looking like a bullish candle at the end of the day, I think we might look to put a bullish trade on. So what is, in my opinion, the mood of the market? The mood of the market is definitely more bearish and more fearful right now, without a doubt, right? It's bearish and fearful. But we know that bearish and fearful can turn, right? We know that, there's nothing that's like, well, then that's it. Let's just throw some puts on. Well, that's not what I'm thinking either. It's a little more subtle than that, but yes. All right. Well, listen, guys, it's good to see you. Go get a coffee refill. Keep an eye on things. I'll be back this afternoon. We'll figure some things out, and we will go from there. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If I don't see you, I will be back Friday morning. For those of you who are only mornings, I'll be here Friday morning. For those of you in the afternoon, have your afternoon coffee ready and be there. And I'll see you then. As always, happy trading.